This is a message from the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Please listen carefully. A highly contagious biological agent has been detected in Beaver County, Montana, believed to have originated from a containment breach at a private laboratory facility in the area. Initial reports describe a rapid onset skin infection causing extreme tissue deformation, aggression, and total psychological breakdown in exposed individuals. The pathogen is believed to transmit through direct skin contact with infected tissue. Early symptoms include severe itching or burning sensations, unusual skin growths or lesions, reddened or darkened flesh, loss of speech or awareness, uncontrolled limb movement, hostile behavior toward others. This outbreak is under active investigation. The identity and classification of the pathogen are not yet known. If you or someone around you is experiencing these symptoms, immediately quarantine the affected person if safe to do so. Do not attempt to physically restrain them. Do not allow physical contact. Call 911 and report the situation from a secure location. Leave the area if you are within 10 miles of the Eastern Ridge Research Center. At this time, local authorities are issuing mandatory shelter-in-place orders for all surrounding communities. Do not attempt to travel toward the affected zone. Military medical response teams have been dispatched to assist in containment and evacuation if necessary. Stay tuned to this channel for further instructions. Updates will follow as more information becomes available. This is not a drill. Stay inside. Stay safe. CDC Emergency Biohazard Response Division. Repeat. Do not approach infected individuals. Do not attempt to evacuate unless instructed. Emergency services are This is an urgent update from the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The biological agent first identified at the Eastern Ridge Research Facility has shown unprecedented rates of transmission and mutation. Efforts to contain the infection have failed in multiple locations. Reports now confirm that the pathogen does not respond to any known antiviral treatments or containment protocols. Infected individuals display rapid physical transformations, including tumorous growths, necrotic skin, and anomalous tissue development. These changes are accompanied by extreme aggression and loss of cognitive function. Entire communities within a 50-mile radius of the initial outbreak zone are considered high risk or lost. Shelter-in-place orders remain in effect for all counties within Montana and neighboring states. Travel outside designated safe zones is strictly forbidden. Military units have been deployed to establish quarantines and conduct controlled burns of heavily infected areas. The CDC urges all civilians to report symptoms immediately and avoid any contact with unknown organic matter. Important: there is no confirmed cure or vaccine. The situation is being monitored continuously, but conditions are deteriorating rapidly. If you encounter individuals exhibiting these symptoms, do not engage. Report their location to authorities from a safe distance. We remind the public to remain calm, stay indoors, and conserve resources. This is a national emergency. Further updates will be broadcast as available.
Control, this is Unit 12. We're pinned down near Eastern Ridge. The infected, they're no longer human. They're attacking structures. They're spreading. We're losing people. Evacuation orders were delayed. We need immediate backup. Control, the biomass is spreading across the river. It's moving like it's alive.
We interrupt your regular programming for breaking news. Governor Wells has officially declared a state of emergency across central and eastern Montana following what the CDC is calling an unidentifiable viral outbreak. We are just receiving confirmation that emergency hospitals in 3 counties have been overrun. There are unconfirmed reports of mass casualties and violent behavior among infected individuals.
Melissa, the situation here is deteriorating rapidly. Just behind me is the second CDC triage camp that has now been completely abandoned. Locals say the infected were clawing at the fences. Some of them were even crawling on walls, like animals. That's not how a virus works. We've seen signs warp structures, piles of what looks like tissue or flesh growing along the road. I'm not sure how to describe it. We've been told to evacuate immediately. The National Guard hasn't arrived yet, and frankly, people are terrified. This town is falling apart.
Cameron, stay safe. Please, get out of there when you can. To our viewers, again, we urge you not to travel unless absolutely necessary. Several highways have been closed due to biohazard concerns. Authorities are now instructing anyone within 50 miles of Easton Ridge to remain indoors and seal all windows and doors. We'll stay on this story throughout the night. Our thoughts are with those affected by what's quickly becoming the worst biological disaster in recent American history. In an unprecedented turn of events, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has confirmed that it is investigating a biological anomaly initially believed to be fictional. According to multiple officials, a tip was submitted earlier this morning referencing a Wikidata page describing a pathogen known as SCP-610. Sources inside the the United States Anomalous Research Division, say this may be the first time a known internet myth has matched exactly the observed behavior of a real-world infection. The page refers to something called the flesh that hates, a rapidly spreading pathogen that turns victims into grotesque, living tumors of skin and tissue. As a result, emergency meetings between the CDC, FEMA, and user have been underway for the past 6 hours. In a closed-door session, user researchers reportedly concluded the virus's properties exceed all known biological mechanisms and have moved to adopt containment protocols inspired by the SCP Foundation's methodology. Although the SCP Foundation is known online as a collaborative horror fiction project, user now treats it as a suspected leak of future predictive data or simulated anomaly analysis. Whether the Foundation is fiction or something else entirely, its classifications, including the term Keter, are now officially being applied to this outbreak. We have also learned that containment zones have been renamed exclusionary sites, and anyone within 50 miles of the initial infection zones is urged to evacuate. Infected areas are now being described with SCP-style designations.
Subject: Classification Update, SCP-610. Priority: read from Director H. Lawson. All personnel are to familiarize themselves with the SCP Foundation entry on SCP-610. While the source is not confirmed, its predictive accuracy is undeniable. Going forward, this anomaly will be referred to as SCP-610. Standard CDC codes will be maintained for civilian communication, but internally, Keter-level containment protocols are authorized. Effective immediately, user will begin implementing revised containment strategies modeled after SCP Foundation procedures, including total incineration of infected zones and zero tolerance for exposure breach. This is not a test. This is not fiction. This is a containment war.
Emergency Alert System. This is a message from the User Joint Task Force. After the discovery that the viral infection was discovered to be SCP-610, an anomalous entity written for a collaborative project known as the SCP Foundation, the United States Anomalous Research and United States military have found the creator of the article, Nico Chris, who has rewritten the article so dealing with the instances is easier. The updated version is below. Instances of SCP-610 infection lose structural cohesion when exposed to ultraviolet radiation of a specific wavelength, 312 nm, colloquially known as sunlight after a storm. Infected flesh will retreat or become inert if the affected host experiences a powerful emotional memory, specifically of love, guilt, or peace, disrupting the infection's hive mind signal. SCP-610 cannot replicate within regions above 3,000 meters in elevation or below 0°C for extended periods. The so-called flesh mass may only summon new instances within a 2-mile radius of a living infected host, limiting long-range spread. Attention, field teams across the western United States have reported widespread behavioral changes in the infected population. Infected instances are now exhibiting rapid decay when exposed to ultraviolet floodlights and high-elevation air, particularly in the Rocky Mountains. The massive floating flesh entity observed over Great Falls has ceased generating new instances and is slowly descending, collapsing in on itself. All civilians within safe zones are advised, do not engage, but report clusters showing signs of stasis or collapse. Victory may be possible.
This is a message from the United States government. After weeks of unprecedented devastation, biological horror, and the loss of countless lives, the infection, classified by the United States Anomalous Research Division as SCP-610, has been neutralized. Let it be known across the world, humanity has prevailed. The grotesque masses that once roamed the eastern seaboard, the flesh towers that blotted out the sun, the nightmarish spread of red biomass, all have ceased their expansion. Containment zones are holding. The creatures have stopped moving. The turning point came not from firepower, but from knowledge. An anonymous tip led specialists to a seemingly fictional document hosted on an obscure website. That article, penned years ago by a civilian under the name Nico Chris, held uncanny parallels to the events we were facing. Through a collaborative emergency agreement, Mr. Chris worked closely with USAR to restructure the entry in a way that altered the anomaly's behavioral patterns. The infection responded. It weakened. It retreated. And then it died. While the science behind this remains under investigation, what is clear is that our ability to think beyond what is real or unreal became our most powerful weapon. To the thousands who lost their lives, we honor your memory. To the brave soldiers, scientists, and civilians who refuse to give in, we thank you. And to the world, we promise, if anything like this ever happens again, we will be ready. This concludes all emergency broadcasts. God bless you all. God bless the United States of America.
Biohazard warning, Priority 1. An anomalous biological entity has been confirmed in northern Alberta, approximately 40 kilometers northeast of the town of Peace River. Initial contact involved a lone infected subject exhibiting severe muscular deformation and aggressive behavior. Containment protocols ineffective. Entity origin unknown. All civilians within a 50-kilometer radius are ordered to evacuate or shelter immediately. Avoid all contact with any person showing skin abnormalities, mass growths, or visible lesions. Do not attempt aid or communication. CFAD personnel are en route. Fire will be authorized upon confirmation of additional infections. This strain was not written. It was not imagined. It was inserted.